Good afternoon to St. Michael's Memorial Rose Garden. And Father Gregg and I are going to talk about the history
Yes.
and the beginning and the upkeep and some of the information about our St. Michael's Memorial Rose Garden.
So, what started this all to happen?
In 1998, my husband Dave and I were approached for remodeling. We were getting our church ready for the celebration of the 100th birthday in 2000. Father Mayo was here at the time, and Dave and I, being a lover of roses and in the Rose Society, pictured a beautiful rose garden in front of this church, and we approached Father Mayo and said that we would be willing to put in the garden and supply the expense for it, being we were really getting hit hard with the total remodeling of the church. So, in 1998, we started with 80 bushes. Of course, when you put in a rose garden, you also have to have a water system. So Dave planned the water system and the plan for it. But to take care of the expense of 80 rose bushes that ran $20 to $25, Dave and I, being members of the Rose Society, were good friends with Phil Edmonds that had Edmonds Roses. And we worked his sale at the end of the year. He would take all the leftover roses, and instead of burning them like most rose growers do, he offered them to the local people for $5 or $4. So that helped us cut down the cost of 80 bushes. And I envisioned them in a formal garden. Roses are spoke about a lot in the garden. They were Mary's favorite rose. Even the petals are used to make rosaries. And rose is our national flower, so it really meant to be at this church. So, by 2000, we had all the flowers put in it. And we decided to use floribundas rather than hybrid teas, because floribundas have many blooms on one stem, where hybrid teas only have one bloom. But as you can see, over the years, I have snuck in some hybrid teas because people wanting a memory rose for a loved one have asked for a certain rose, so I try to accommodate that. But as you can see, we planted red all the way across, and then yellow all the way across, and then the coal, which is a pink and a white, and then a white row, and then the mauve row, blueberry hill, and then the pink. So I've tried to stay with that, but as you can see, I can't always get the same rose anymore.
So, how long, you have to replace them every once in a while, right?
Yes, and to cut down on that cost, this wasn't always a memorial garden. To cut down, Dave and I just took care of the cost, this spray and whatever, and to keep up the cost of replanting. But when my husband passed away in 2011, I did not have the funds needed to keep up the rose garden, so I turned it into a memorial one where people could buy a rose bush that was already planted that they liked, or a new one for $55. That would also give them a plaque. I started out with beautiful metal plaques, but we had trouble with people on drugs coming and stealing the metal plaques, so I had to go to wood. And as you can tell, wood does not hold up well in the rain. So this year I spent my most summer trying to refinish 55. We have 55 memorial roses in this garden.
Are there any still empty spots?
Oh yeah, because there's only 55 that are memorial ones, and we've got 88 roses in here now.
Okay.
So there's lots of room, and that helps us carry the costs for fertilizer, spray, and the plants. So $55 nowadays is a good price. And also, we were so lucky to have Antonio in our church, and he had to practically rebuild the water system 2 years ago, because anyone that has a water system knows they break down after time, especially people digging in it. And each rose has a little water
Emitter.
spot to it. So anyway, 2 years ago, our secretary, Tammy,
Yes.
said, why isn't there a rose out there for all our priests? So
Oh.
last year, I got planted new roses for Father Palladino, Father Pat Walsh, and Father John Krall.
Now I see over here, is this one a sample of one of those ones?
Yes, this
Should
is
we go over there and just see? What?
and that's Father Palladino's. And having been to Rome with Father Palladino, this is a white rose, and it's Pope John Paul. It is not a hybrid tea. I mean, it's not a floribunda, but it's a beautiful white, and I can't wait for it to come into bloom because it's very beautiful and fragrant. So that's
That one. Is there another priest one that's close
and
by?
then I sort of have them. I tried to replace ones that, and Father Pat is sort of hidden, and it's the yellow one by the pole, by the flagpole, right there. It is in bloom, but those are all young roses, and they came from my yard. When I had to sell my house, I had a beautiful rose garden of a formal one of 250 roses. And part of the deal when I sold my house in 19 was he let me dig up 10 roses to take with me. So I tried to dig up the best ones for these priests. And Father Krall is this beautiful red one over here. I need to pull out his nameplate, his plaque further. But as you can tell, keeping up a rose garden is a bit of a job. I prune every Friday morning or Saturday morning, and I could really use some help. As I'm getting older and it's a bigger job, and I would gladly train anybody that would like to come and help. I had some good helpers last year, and a few people came to prune. This bad part was they never did come back after I got them trained. But it isn't that hard of a job. You can't ruin a rose by pruning. But as you can see, Veterans Honor,
Ooh, that's beautiful.
which is awesome and smells good. Most of these blooms need to be trimmed off, because if you don't cut them back to 5 leaflets, you won't have another new rose.
Wow.
So that's why I keep them pruned every week, and we will have them up until Thanksgiving. so they bloom right away. They were blooming in end of April almost
Yeah. Yeah.
this year, and they will bloom clear up till November if you keep them pruned.
So we have a work party this coming Friday. So would you say come on down and you'll train them out?
Yep. Gladly trained. You just need a pair of pruners. I have one extra pair is all, and a good pair of gloves.
And you provide you have to make sure it's sterilized.
The pruners are sterilized so that yes.
That's important for any kind of trim work, always.
So
in general, not just roses, but any kind of.
So you don't take home disease, and so we don't spread disease. So anyway, it's a beautiful garden. It did win the Royal Rosarian garden contest in 2003. Our plaque is so wore off you can't even hardly see anything.
Well, where is that plaque?
The plaque is right there.
Oh,
As you can see,
it's not even.
you can't even see the date on it. But the Rosarians say we're 1 mile out of their 20 mile radius to be judged. But I know if we could get in the contest again, that we would be a good winner, because I don't know of any other church that has 88 roses in it.
Yes.
So,
Well, it truly is an amazing thing. And I see here at the church many times people coming and just taking pictures of the rose garden, and they see it from Langensan, the beauty of all these roses. So Eilene, thank you so much for all that you've been doing for these years, and hopefully we're going to have many more years. A pleasure.
and please come and see and smell. The minute you get out of your car, you will smell the roses. And I'm sure Mary, our mother, is very pleased.
Thank you.